Hey guys, welcome back, welcome aboard, welcome home. As always, completely dependent on where you are in relation to this channel, these energies, these messages, all that good stuff. So this week, let's have a conversation about what's up. This is the week of December the 6th through December the 12th. 2021. We just had a big new moon eclipse at 12 Sag, conjunct my natal Mars, by the way. That's very exciting feeling to me. Yeah, we're in the midst of Sagittarius season, headed towards the end of this calendar year and our beautiful return of the light. So let's start out this week. We've got a Capricorn moon. The first thing that happens this week in an image kind of way is that Mars sextiles Pluto, which is exciting. And then the moon is going to aspect Neptune and conjunct Venus and Pluto before sextiling Mars as well. So this is kind of a day that could have some feelings of power struggle or issues with control. And the question is, where are you in relation to those concepts, right? Are you struggling with yourself? Are you struggling with others? Because we have this moon, Neptune, Venus, Pluto, Mars energy, right? This is indicative of perhaps feeling kind of a push me, pull you sort of energy, or trying to find your place within the perspective of, am I in control of myself? Or am I struggling against what I'm witnessing as something outside of myself? And if that's the place that you are, I invite you to take a look at whether or not you witness yourself as all things or in relation to all things. Those are very different concepts. Do you witness yourself as all things? Or do you witness yourself in relation to all things? That will answer the question of where the locus of your power struggle resides, right? You'll know. On Tuesday, the moon moves into Aquarius. Mercury is going to square Neptune. And then the moon aspects Chiron and bumps right up against Saturn. So this kind of puts you outside of your own feelings. And as we're following up this power struggle day, that might be a good place to kind of gain perspective, right? That Mercury squaring Neptune is going to kind of add a little bit of a challenge in terms of not being able to put your finger on what's going on, or to not be able to communicate it appropriately, even if you can figure it out, right? Even if you have that better felt than spoken, right? The issue is better felt than spoken. So it's just kind of one of those days where you might be challenged. My dad used to always say it's better to be silent and thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt, which I believe is an Abraham Lincoln quote. I'm not certain on that. At any rate, my dad used to say it all the time. And this feels like the theme of this day, right? Especially, especially with what's going on tomorrow, right? So on Wednesday, Mars squares Jupiter, right? And so this is, again, how are we challenged in our growth and expansion? Where are our intentions, right? That Mars and Jupiter, like, where are we going? What is our direction, right? And the thing is, direction matters, right? Your movement matters. Your trajectory matters. Your intention matters. And even though that moon is in Aquarius and we've got big ideas, right, collective ideas, it is very definitely a day to mind your mind, mind your business, mind your mouth, right? Yeah, definitely. On Thursday, it's kind of a quiet day in terms of aspects, right? The moon smooches up against Jupiter in Aquarius, and then squares Mars, and then moves into Pisces, right? So you might feel like that fog is clearing just in time to kind of flex into a little bit of expansion. But the fact of the matter is that with those aspects to Mars and then the moon moving into Pisces, what you really have to ask yourself is the fog really there? Or is the fog just a matter of your perception? And is the fog really the thing that's obscuring your vision? Right? Great question. Great question. You know, with that Scorpio Mars, it's definitely an invitation to dig as deeply as possible, feel in as deeply as possible, if you dare, right? If you dare. And then that moon in Pisces really allows you that kind of depth in terms of spelunking. Again, if you're available to that kind of energetic, if you are, you know, and it's okay not to be. It really is okay not to be. But if you're available for that sort of deep assessment, that energy is open and available for you. On Friday, we've got a first quarter moon. So, right, this is about reevaluating, reassessing. It's, again, not a big aspect day, right? The moon in Pisces, sextiles Uranus, squares the sun, and then conjuncts Neptune. So it's a beautiful day for a little quiet, a little reassessment, a little bit of being in touch with your inner current, right? A little bit of lighting up your inner hallways, a little bit of sitting with your inner awareness, listening to that voice, and being really in touch with your feelings, and allowing them to be what they are, not judging them, not judging yourself, right, for feeling them, because you get to feel your feelings every single day. That's what we're here to do, by the way, feel your feelings. Saturday gets a little busy. The big things that happen are that Venus conjuncts Pluto and Mercury sextiles Jupiter. There are a bunch of moon aspects that support all of that information. And then late in the afternoon, the moon moves into Aries, right? So this is a day for short-term, long-term. Short-term, long-term, right? It's a day for planning. It's a day for contemplating your trajectory. We've talked about this a lot this week, right? Trajectory. Where are you going? Why are you going there? What are you actually doing with your mind? These are all great questions, important questions. So as we have that Venus-Pluto conjunction, right? Again, we're talking about depth, right? And as we're talking about Venus and Pluto, this is about relationships. This is about money. This is about 3D reality, what you are creating. How are you doing? Why are you doing the things you're doing? What are you doing? Where are you doing them, right? All of those questions, those assessments, with that Venus, Pluto, and Moon, and then with Jupiter and Mercury, how are you expressing those things, right? How are you expressing them, and how are you allowing them to be expressed? These are important questions, right? How are you really? Where are you really? What are you really? And most importantly, of course, always why? Why are you really? Are you in alignment with your why? And if not, what's in the way? Those are important questions to answer. And then Sunday, the sun squares Neptune, right? Hello, blurry feeling. The moon is going to conjunct Chiron and then sextile Saturn. This could be a beautiful day to be physical, to get out to do some things. It could also be equally as beautiful a day to literally just navel gaze and engage in a complete and total day of omphaloskepsis. That's entirely up to you. Your focus, however, could be what's next. What comes next, right? This is who I am. This is where I am. This is what I'm doing. The question is, what comes next, right? Those are the answers we're always seeking, and those are the answers that this energetic currently is asking you to be in awareness of, if not in alignment with, right? As that sun squares Neptune, it might be hard to gather those answers, right? And as the moon conjuncts Chiron, it might be hard to gather those answers, but those are the answers that are required. So again, we're talking about if you dare, right? If you dare. And really, I mean, dare. There's no point in not daring. You're not here to play it safe. You're not here to play it safe, guys. You're here to be the edge on the event of on your event horizon, right? And if you're not exploring that boundary and pushing that boundary and discovering that boundary and seeing that boundary and hearing it and tasting it and feeling into it and understanding that that boundary is you every single moment, then what are you doing, right? So the question, what comes next, is the question that you could be constantly asking yourself. What comes next, right? When I stop and imagine where I'm struggling, what comes next? When I ask myself, what are my intentions? What comes next? When I really realize that I am everything, and I am my short and long term, what comes next? All great questions. Monday, power struggles and control. So we've got the Devil and the Nine of Cups. Now look, this is attachment and wish fulfillment. So I'm going to ask you a very serious question. Are you struggling with yourself, or are you struggling with others? Are you struggling with what you're attached to, or are you struggling with where you want to go? Are you stuck in your old paradigms, ideas, and narratives? What story are you telling, right? Moon, Neptune, Venus, Pluto, Mars. You're walking the path you lay out for you. It can be your wish fulfillment, or it can be your attachment. Either way, guess what? It's your wish fulfillment. You get exactly what you ask for. You are living exactly what you're creating. And as we have Mars sextiling Pluto, you are walking the path of your shadow. You're walking the path of your shadow. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Where are you struggling? Be real about the answer to that question. Be real about the answer to that question. On Tuesday, the moon moves into Aquarius. Mercury squares Neptune. So this is, again, we talked about perhaps being silent and being thoughtful, or opening your mouth and removing all doubt, right? Definitely keeping your own course. So we've got the King of Cups, we've got the Six of Wands. King of Cups, of course, being in mastery of your own emotional balance, sometimes perhaps holding back, being in discernment, right? Knowing perhaps when to shut up instead of blathering on and on, right? Knowing when to keep your own counsel, and knowing when to put your heart out into the world. the Six of Wands is a card of victory, right? This is a card of motivation and external world things, right? This wands are, of course, about your passion, your fire. How are you putting your passion and fire into the world? We've got that Mercury in Sagittarius, right? Fire. And then we've got Neptune in Pisces asking you, are you holding back in hopes of creating a victory, right? Is it wise to hold back, right? Because those kings are always, we talk about kings as being mastery, right? But mastery is also a need for embodiment. You have to be able to relinquish control over a thing in order to have victory over it. So yes, keep your own counsel, but understand why you're doing it. Understand your motivation, and understand that if you don't understand it yourself, nobody else will either. So sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, but sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes putting it all out there is not just the wisest course of action, but also the brave course of action, right? Absolutely. Wednesday, we've got Mars squaring Jupiter. Very exciting. Again, we're talking about a day that direction matters, movement matters, intention matters. We've got the Empress and the Ace of Pentacles. Listen. So the Empress is that beautiful, fertile ground, right? Everything planted will bloom. Everything seeded will come to fruition. As we have this Ace of Pentacles here, the Ace of Pentacles, all aces are gifts from the universe that we have to take with gratitude and then put into action, right? It doesn't matter what you have if you're not planting the seeds. It doesn't matter what you've got going on if you don't trust that process of seeding life, fruition, and growth. It doesn't matter how many opportunities you have if you're not willing to take them. Your direction matters. Your intention matters. Your ideas matter. Your trajectory matters. This is Mars squaring Jupiter. Your growth, your possibility, your expansion, your potential for wisdom is limited only by your willingness to be in action. If you sit around, ain't nothing coming, right? Nobody's going to knock on your door and beg you to put your life in motion for you. Thursday. We talked about this as being a day where, where's our fog, right? Where's the fog? Is the fog clearing? Is the fog there? Is the fog actually real, right? Because we've got that moon conjunct Jupiter, we've got that moon squaring Mars, and then the moon moving into Pisces. Woo, that's exciting, right? So we've got the Knight of Cups, which is about moving forward into toward your emotional balance, right? The Knight of Cups is about love. It's about being in that love space, that loving space. And then we've got the Chariot, which is about forward motion in balance, right? So we can have the Knight of Cups moving forward in terms of how we feel, but it has to be balanced. It has to be equal on both sides. There has to be metered progress, right? You can't just go off full bore without understanding where you're going, what you're doing, and why you're going there, right? We've been talking about this all week. Know your why. Understand what your path is, what your highest potential is, and then move forward, not in terms of raw passion, but in terms of passion with a goal, right? In terms of passion with comprehension of how and where and why. So is the fog there? The fog's there only if you're only focusing on going full steam. If you're creating step by step your progress, then the fog is not there. In fact, then the fog will part for you. Friday. We talked about this as being a quiet day. So we have the High Priestess and the Hanged Man. This is beautiful. This is all about intuition. It's about suspending your motion, suspending your movement. It's about turning within. It's about understanding that sometimes you just got to hang around and listen to your own heart. And as we talked about this being the day of the first quarter moon, that Pisces moon, right? What's in your soul? Guess what? It's all there. If you can sit with your inner awareness, if you can sit in your heart space, if you have the bravery and courage to be silent long enough to listen, you will understand and know exactly what you need to know, right? Always. Saturday. Wow. Short-term versus long-term, dudes. Look, this is amazing right here. We got the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is about embodying your passion, embodying your motivation. Why do I get up every day? Let me be in my full sensual space, right? Queen of Wands is about fire. She's about getting things done. She's about being in full expression of her passion, which is gorgeous. Then we've got the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is Pyrrhic victory. This is victory with no real win, right? This is nobody wins, in fact. This is the appearance of a win made with such big loudness that there's no victory at the end of the day, right? This is that scorched earth policy, right? So don't let your passion get away from you. Don't let your passion ruin your plan, right? We're talking about being in alignment with your inner wise and not going off half-cocked and allowing for your cart to get ahead of your horse, right? So here you have a real danger of, creating a trajectory that's not going to take you where you think you want to go. How are you really? Where are you really? What are you really? When do you want it? And why? Why? Are you going to win just for the sake of winning? Does that make sense? Is your narrative so embedded with victory, victory, victory at all costs that you're not minding what's happening around you? Because if you burn everything in an attempt to win, you've not won a thing except a bunch of scorched earth. And then you'll be standing there all by yourself. And what do you really have then? How has your passion served you then? Moon, Venus, Pluto, Jupiter, Mercury, right? How is the depth of your expression going to create a situation where your assessment of the battle structure was over the top, right? Winning at all costs is not always winning. And then on Sunday, right, the Sun squares Neptune. And we talked about this could be a physical day. It could be a very internal day. What's next? What's next? What's next? The Sun squares Neptune. So this is, the Hierophant is a card that talks about your belief structure, your belief systems, right? And so we've got the Six of Cups, which really is we know, we talk about this a lot. This is that place where you've never been hurt. Love like you've never been hurt, right? This is the embodiment of that card. This is that place where you understand what unconditional love really feels like. Not what it looks like, but what it feels like in your soul. And then we've got the Hierophant. How do you create from that space? How do you structure your belief system so that you can create and engage with and draw more to you of this feeling, right? You have the keys. We understand in the Hierophant card, all those keys are present, right? You understand how to create it. And the way to create it is in yourself, right? Nobody can create it for you. But if your going to draw your baggage along with you and love not like you've never been hurt. If you're guarded, if you're dragging your attachments around, right? If you're focused on holding back, right? If you're not allowing your seeds to be planted, right? If you're just riding like holy hell and not being aware of how you're moving forward, if you're not listening to your inner environment, right? And if you're willing to win at any cost, you're not going to feel that as a win, right? You're not going to feel it as a win. We have got holy, holy. So here's the deal. It's all or nothing. And at every single turn this week, ask yourself, what am I creating? Where am I creating it? How am I creating it? Why am I creating it? What is my goal, right? Because you have all the power. You have all the power. How you choose to use it, whether you choose to use it as a big, giant, passionate reservoir of available energy, or whether you choose to use it to prove your point and to burn everything down around you, definitely is going to determine how you experience that inner love, right? 100%. You are holy, holy. Use that energy appropriately, right? So, look, we've got orphaned. Okay, let's have this conversation. A sense of loss, an identity crisis, recognizing that you don't fit in, the need to belong, uncertainty about your place. All right, so we were all meant to have connections with other people within our families, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize that. And it's important to recognize when being a part of rather than separate from is essential to your well-being. The issue at hand is to need to find where you fit in. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the need for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you. It's time to move on. So here's the thing. Where are you attached? How are you carrying that forward? What are you planting? How are you moving within it, right? How are you staying within your own alignment? And where are you creating your own sense of feeling other than, right? Because you get to feel however you want to feel. But as you plan your what's next, where are you in alignment with the love that is you? Knowing that you have every opportunity already in your sphere. And it's how you choose to move forward. It's what you choose to light on fire. What you choose to create as your passion. You get to pick. You get to pick. You get to pick whether you are separate from or a part of. Because the bottom line is that it's all you. So pay attention to how you're orphaning yourself, right? Where's your power struggle? Yeah, absolutely. And I do feel compelled to say that I do have this come up a lot in client sessions. And what usually happens is that at that point in session, generally there are quite a few guides or teachers or guardians who show up, and that person is then confronted by the fact that even though they've felt alone, they know that they're not, right? We know that we're not alone. we just allow that feeling to overwhelm us sometimes, right? When we're sitting in our separateness, when we're feeling outside of our own power. So ask yourself in your power struggle, who's in control? Is it me? Or am I allowing external things to control my experience? Right? Either way, it's okay. But just be mindful and know where you're sourcing. Anyway, that's what's going on this week. Big blessings, guys. Take it easy out there and stay aligned.